So in this PPT, I will be going through a brief about what is blockchain technology, then touching about one or two slides on what is artificial intelligence, and then uses of these two technologies in customs, GST separately, and what are the hindrances, and then we can take up the questions, or if there is any questions in between, that can also be taken up, because it will keep clearing the doubts. So I will be speaking English and Hindi. I think everyone is like comfortable with both the languages, English and Hindi.
Yes, sir.
So 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 what is the first question comes to our mind is, what is blockchain technology? So if you know, blockchain technology uh, was propounded by Satoshi Nakamoto, and no one has seen this person who is Satoshi Nakamoto. That was a pseudonym given to a person who has propounded a paper in October 2008. That paper is a P2 electronic cash system, Bitcoin, a electronic cash system, and it was published on GitHub. And the first block was mined on 3rd January 2009. The second point is, it's a trustless distributed ledger and exists on P2P network. So what I mean by trustless is कि it trusts no one. वो किसी का विश्वास नहीं करता है. Once it is technology is deployed on the internet system, it trusts no one. It trusts only itself. So trustless means it runs by its own algorithm, its own product. Distribution ledger means everyone which is connected to the blockchain, or every computer connected to the blockchain, has a copy of it, and it exists on P2P network, means it's a person to person network, and there is no centralized server. And coming to the third point, it is a cryptography based data structure. So what is cryptography? So like, if you want to send some information to any person and you don't want the recipient and the sender इसके अलावा कोई उस information को देखे, then you can hide this information by using cryptography data structures. So this technology also uses the same kind of cryptography based data structures. Now आपके मन में ये क्वेश्चन आता है कि blockchain technology, it is so complex, and why the creator has made it so complex. So coming to that 6 aims of the creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, he said anyone can read and write the data. That means the barrier to access the technology should be very low. Second, there should be no central control. Third, it is relatively anonymous. That means it is not too much opaque and too much transparent. So you can see the public ledger. Read the public ledger, you need specialized softwares. Then it has an inbuilt protocol algorithms for conflict resolutions. क्योंकि क्या होता है, when any kind of asset not owned by no, then वहां पर conflicts आता है कि ये what will happen next. So for the conflict resolution, there is inbuilt protocols. Then there is a defense against attacks. क्योंकि किसी सिस्टम के अंदर जब कोई एसेट बहुत प्रायोरिटी होता है, so people try to misuse it or try to use it for their own personal gains. तो जो attacks आते हैं, rogue attacks, you have hackers. So how the system defend itself, and then with the passage of time, how it improve its. These creator, and because of this, the blockchain technology has become complex. So now it's a pictographical description कि blockchain technology कैसे काम करती है. So if I want to give 10 rupees to a friend of mine in person, I can give him very easily. But if the friend of mine lives almost like 1,000 kilometers away, then to send him money, I need a third party, a trusted party to whom I trust कि मैं उसको पैसे दूंगा, वो मेरे friend को पैसे दे देगा. And this trusted party is in the current financial system is replaced by a bank. So bank become a trusted party, and in the bank, how the transaction is happening, it is through a client server. So that centralized server become the main transmitting point. अब होता क्या है, if we go through that white paper of Satoshi Nakamoto, he said, I don't want a financial system which is controlled by few, and those few can take misuse of it. क्योंकि that paper was written in the background of that financial meltdown that has happened in 2008. So ये टेक्नोलॉजी उसी को देखकर बनाई गई थी कि इट शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड बाय फ्यू और फ्यू प्रिविलेज्ड, एंड दोस कैन टेक अ asymmetric advantage of that technology. Now in blockchain technology, what is happening? Those banks are replaced by this blockchain technology, as you can see in this diagram. It is replaced by these and then there is no server because it's a distributed ledger. So every connected computer has a copy of it. I think so far I'm clear to everyone. If there is any question, they can pose it. Questions, so I can take it now before moving forward. Hello.
People can post their questions. There is no question in chat box so far.
क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स में डालने का सिस्टम में डाल देंगे तो क्वेश्चन रहेगा.
हाँ चंदन जी, जैसा आप मुझे रीड कर दीजिएगा because I'm not able to see the chat box right now. PPT is not full screen mode.
Hey sir, I'm saying I'm just closely watching it. If there is there, I will put you through, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Coming to some jargon points, because before we understand the blockchain technology, these kind of words keep on coming to us in the newspapers or in the blogs on the internet. So, क्या होता है? There is a word called mining. So, process of adding transactions. क्योंकि once you have deployed that blockchain technology onto the internet or the internet system, it needs some kind of energy, because for every human being or non-human beings, if it developing itself, it needs energy, some kind of energy. So mining is a process which gives it energy by adding transactions to it. You can understand from that system. Miners, the people who are doing mining, that means adding transactions to the blockchain, securing, verifying. Those people are called miners. And to do mining, there's like these kind of rigs. These are called rigs. It's a GPU mining rig. So you need a special built computer and solve the block. अब in mining, miners का target क्या है? So they need to find a alphanumeric hash value which is below the targeted value. I give you an example. क्या होता है? जैसे there are two persons fighting for a reward. So I give them a puzzle कि I'm giving you 6 dices. मैं आपको 6 dice देता हूँ and give me a number below 34. So they just roll the dice and they will find a number below 34, which is easy. Now, if there are 10 people fighting for the same reward, I have to raise the difficulty. So how I will improve the difficulty? Now I will ask them, roll these 6 dices and give me a number below 10. So probability of finding a number below 10 becomes difficult. So इसी type से एक alphanumeric target generate होता है and the miners have to find a number below that. So that is a complex algorithm. So and the nodes are क्या है? Any computer connected to blockchain. So a computer which is running full time, always up and have a full copy of blockchain, it's a master node. And जैसे आप कई लोग बोलते हैं कि वो माइनिंग कर रहे हैं, तो दिस जीपीयू रिग इज यूज्ड फॉर हार्डवेयर माइनिंग. बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी जैसे आपने सुना होगा चाइना माइनिंग फार्म्स हैं जो अलमाटी में लगे हैं, इंडिया में मतलब ठंडे प्लेसेस में लगे हैं. सो व्हाट दे डज इज they mine like using 5,000, 10,000 these kind of computers, and then they sell that hash power to us. So these called cloud mining. I hope I'm clear to till now. So coming to how this blockchain technology, how the cryptography in this blockchain works. So cryptography mainly 2 types की होती है. There is a symmetric cryptography and there is asymmetric cryptography. तो जो symmetric cryptography है, in that I think there is some voice. So what I'm saying is कि there is a symmetric cryptography. So symmetric cryptography is like where there is a public key and a private key. Public key आप समझ सकते हैं आपका बैंक अकाउंट नंबर, and private key is like right. So in a public symmetric cryptography, public key and private key both are same, and in asymmetric cryptography, public key and private key are different. So जो हमारा बैंक अकाउंट है वो हमारा पब्लिक क्रिप्टोग्राफी पब्लिक की हो गया, और जो हमारा इंटरनेट यूजर नेम एंड पासवर्ड है वो हमारा प्राइवेट की हो गया. तो अब हम अपना अकाउंट नंबर किसी को भी देते हैं जिसको हमें पैसे डिपॉजिट करने हैं, तो उसको हम अपनी पब्लिक की देते हैं. सिमिलरली इन दिस ब्लॉकचेन, that public key is broadcasted to the network to receive and send funds, and these are you generate public key generated using elliptic curve digital signature algorithm. So this kind of system is given by National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is uh, you can say the mother institute of cryptography. Now, अब क्या होता है? Now this public key can be random number, which can be a very big number. So what happens is on this public key, there is a hashing algorithm is used. So what is a hashing algorithm? For example, I say my name is Vipul Gupta. तो वो एक sentence है, let's suppose of 20 words. If somebody writes an essay, कि my name is Vipul Gupta and I live in Delhi, I am posted here and this is a sentence of let's say 100 words. But अगर मुझे एक उसको डेटा स्ट्रक्चर में डालना है, I have to put in a data structure, I have a fixed space. So the hashing algorithm converts that either single word or millions of words into a fixed number of words. It is a public key, so that जो data वो uniform रहे. So to give an example, Bitcoin uses SHA-256 algorithm, and second number cryptocurrency, that is second number cryptocurrency is Ethereum, which is using KeyCac, the hashing algorithm. So now this private key जो हमारी है, that is used to create a wallet, just like our bank internet banking account, and it is also used to sign a digital transaction. जैसे हम अपने पैसे लॉगिन करके एक अकाउंट से दूसरे अकाउंट में भेजते हैं, which says कि guys पैसा हमने ही भेजा है और जिसने लॉगिन किया है वो मैं ही हूँ, I am the owner of those funds. So similarly, private key is used for sending and signing digital transaction. अब through this diagram you can understand क्या ऐसे होता है कि there is a transaction or a message, उसके ऊपर एक मेरा यूनिक डिजिटल सिग्नेचर बनेगा. जैसे हम अपना अकाउंट करते हैं तो हमारा लॉगिन आईडी लॉग क्रिएट होता है. दैट लॉग विल बी क्रिएटेड, दैट विल बी प्राइवेट की इंक्रिप्शन एंड देन इट गोज टू द ब्लॉकचेन. वहां पर जो माइनर्स हैं दे विल सर्टिफाई ऑथेंटिकेट जो मैसेज सही है या नहीं, वेदर जिसने भेजा है ही इज द ओनर ऑफ दैट फंड्स और नॉट, एंड देन इट गोज टू द रिसिपिएंट. वहां पर जाकर ये डिक्रिप्ट होता है एंड देन इट रिसीव्ड बाय द रिसिपिएंट. दिस इज अ सिंपल वन वे ट्रांजैक्शन diagram depicting the transaction of blockchain. I hope something is getting clear to people. Now come to these are some kind of jargons because it basically मैं इसलिए बता रहा हूँ आप लोगों को so that you understand the basic point of view कि how blockchain works. Now I told one thing कि if an kind of asset like air, water, if it is owned by no one and उसके ऊपर everyone has a right, then उसमें हमेशा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट साथ कंसेंसस बनाना पड़ता है कि इसका यूज कैसे होगा. जस्ट लाइक आवर डेमोक्रेसी. सो डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ क्रिप्टोकरेंसी यूज डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ कंसेंसस प्रोटोकॉल. सो प्रूफ ऑफ वर्क क्या बोलता है कि जिसके पास जितनी हैशिंग पावर होगी वो उतना ही वोट देगा. इट्स जस्ट लाइक अ डायरेक्ट डेमोक्रेसी. प्रूफ ऑफ स्टेक क्या बोलता है कि जो जितने पैसे लगाएगा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अ डेमोक्रेसी इंडिया में अगर हम हर इंसान अपने उसके हिसाब से कैपेसिटी के हिसाब से कंट्रीब्यूट करें एंड दोस मनी विल बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू वोटिंग, दैट इज काइंड ऑफ प्रूफ ऑफ स्टेक. Then delegated proof of stake is indirect democracy, which is followed in India. So these different kind of, they are consensus protocol used in the any kind of blockchain. So they are least proof of stake, proof of elapsed time, practical Byzantine fault tolerance. So different algorithm uses different methods. Now coming to the conflict resolution, कि अब एक asset है उसमें conflicts भी हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर इज अ रिवर, इफ समबडी सेज कि नहीं ये पोर्शन मेरा है, यहाँ से पानी मैं ही लूंगा, इफ समबडी एल्स आल्सो कम कि नहीं ये पोर्शन नहीं मेरा है मैं ही लूंगा, देन हाउ देयर इज अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन. प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे ब्लॉकचेन में, कैसे प्रॉब्लम आती है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स कैसे होते हैं. देयर इज लेट्स सपोज देयर ब्लॉक नंबर 80 हैज फॉर्म्ड. नाउ देयर इज अ माइनर इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड देयर इज अ माइनर इन यूएसए. दे बोथ आर फाइटिंग फॉर द नेक्स्ट ब्लॉक. नाउ दे विल बी block number 81 will be formed. So whose block it will be? So what happens is जो algorithm है, how it solves that problem, algorithm सबके blocks form होने देता है. It try get all the blocks formed by Australian person, Chinese person, Indian, US, like this, like block number 81, 81B. Now after that 81 ए के ऊपर लेट्स सपोज, और ये ऑस्ट्रेलियन ब्लॉक था, ऑस्ट्रेलियन एक सेकंड ब्लॉक फॉर्म हो गया 82 ए, बट चाइनीज, इंडियन, अमेरिकन आर फास्टर। तो उन्होंने क्या किया, 81 बी के बाद ब्लॉक के बाद 2B 83 भी फॉर्म कर दिया बहुत जल्दी यूजिंग एल्गोरिथम्स। सो दिस 81A 81C will not be formed and disappear. So there is something called longest chain rule. जैसे जैसे ब्लॉकचेन के अंदर जो लॉन्गेस्ट चेन रहेगी, that remains a main chain. Side chains, orphan chains becomes dissipated in the system. It's called entropy. I think is there any issues? Oh,
One question. Can I
hello.
read, sir, in chat? Sir, there is one question in chat box. Can I put it? Can I put it to you, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
So one is
Yes,
Dhanashree is Dhanashree
Yes.
has asked, is master node like central system? Very short question. That's all. Is master node like central system?
Yeah. So what I told is कि Satoshi Nakamoto का जो main aim था that it should not be controlled by anyone. So there is no owner of a master node, but there are different master nodes. Even I can put a master node. I just have to put a computer with the appropriate hardware and software, which will be running all time 24 hours into 365 days, and it should have internet. So that becomes a master node. That means I have the whole copy of that ledger कि उसमें क्या क्या transactions हो रही है, but nobody can own blockchain.
That's all, sir. And so far there is only one question. That's all.
So now this is overview of blockchain technology. Please, somebody request a transaction. Suppose I go to a coffee shop and ask, I want a cappuccino, I want to pay in Bitcoin or any kind of cryptocurrency. So what I will do, I will say, I will scan my Bitcoin wallet and my transaction will go to the nodes. The nodes will validate that this Bitcoin is owned by me and I have signed that, I have sent it. Now this Bitcoin will go to the pool. Again, that same thing, it goes to the pool. And then when it is verified, those different kind of transactions will be clubbed together and then they will be embedded in the block, and that block will be embedded in the blockchain, and this is how it become permanent and unalterable. The one of the best part of blockchain is it is almost impossible to hack a blockchain and unalter the blocks which have been formed. The reason why is every block which is to be unblocked needs almost like the hashing power which has been used to make that block into raised to the power 6. So that becomes almost like you can say impossible. So this is how the transaction is complete. Now coming to the last part of the blockchain technology. So now upgrades kaise hote hain, how the improvements are done. Let's suppose, since I told you it's almost we are 12 years when this first blockchain block was formed, Bitcoin block was formed. So we need improvements. So kaise hota hai, let's suppose a person in Argentina says कि I want कि जो blocks formed हो वो अर्जेंटीना के लोगों को ज्यादा मिले. So he will put that proposal that's called BIP, Bitcoin Improvement Proposal, on GitHub. उसके बाद क्या होगा, if we want to accept that, it's like a democracy, I will download that his improvement proposal and will run on my machine as a miner. So miner means मैं वोट दे रहा हूँ अपना. So just like casting my vote. So if that Bitcoin blockchain gets 85% of consensus कि yes, we want this improvement, then in the next upgrade, this is written on the GitHub and Bitcoin blockchain will adapt that improvements. So this is how improvements are done. It's just like passing a law in the parliament, but here the passing percentage is 85%. Now into the defenses. Now hota kya hai ki like there is only one difficulty in this is that's called 51% attack. So if any blockchain is controlled by one person or a group of persons which have more than 51% of strength or power, they can make the blockchain go anywhere. So difficulty adjustment kaise hoti hai? Now those people have, let's say, 45% of mining power. So they are adding more power to the network. So blocks are being creating faster. So difficulty goes up. How difficulty goes up? Every 2016 blocks की एक hashing power या mining power ली जाती है, and that's averaged. And then system automatically improves the guessing that alpha hashing problem, alphanumeric target problem, and then block will be created slower, and the vice versa. This is how, if there is less mining power, blocks is creating more slowly, so difficulty will goes down and the guessing becomes quicker, so that this 10 minutes of time of block formation remains constant. Now coming to the common myths which we have, that blockchain equals Bitcoin. It is not true. Blockchain is a technology. Bitcoin is a derivative of it or byproduct of it. Blockchain only application of cryptocurrency. Not true. Blockchain have different kind of applications like sending of transactions, digital contracts. Now digital arts is coming on blockchain. So different kind of applications are there. Even if you understand blockchain क्या है, to very in a very layman term, it's not data structure. So आपको कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर करनी हो जिसको आपको you want to transmit to the whole world, but you trust no one that no one should alter it and everybody can see it. आप उसको blockchain पे डाल दीजिए. So it become resource for everyone and no one owns it also. So you can understand blockchain in that fashion. Information on blockchain isn't publicly available. It is relatively available, but still it is in a cryptographic manner. The crypto transaction anonymous, crypto volatile. So I said crypto transaction anonymous. It is relatively anonymous. They are volatile, so blockchain must not be reliable, and blockchain are best for criminals. Yes, to certain extent, cryptocurrencies are volatile, but blockchain is still very reliable technology. Cryptocurrency are used for criminals. Yes, I will say to certain extent. Sir. So to certain extent, criminals are using cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency blockchain for technology finance people. It's not true. It's a very simple technology, a computer, and you need a software, basic softwares also, which is publicly available to run a blockchain or mine a blockchain or even do some kind of transactions. And tokens and coins, yes, coins क्या होते हैं, जैसे हम सुनते हैं कि अगर पेमेंट्स करनी है हमें तो बिटकॉइन इज अ कॉइन, बट टोकन्स इज जस्ट लाइक अ एसेट्स. फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ कंपनीज को अपने उनकी एक ब्लॉकचेन है, बट दे वांट टू नो से कि 10% ऑफ दैट ब्लॉकचेन विल बी ओन्ड बाय सर्टेन पीपल, सो उसके लिए टोकन्स इशू करते हैं. सो टोकन्स आर नथिंग बट some kind of assets at company on that blockchain. So there can be asset tokens, there can be security tokens. So these are the tokens. So these are two coin terms are different. So so far I have finished blockchain. So is there any questions on blockchain we can take up here? Chandan ji, कोई question है so far on blockchain?
No sir, chat box में there is no question.
ठीक है. So now coming to what artificial intelligence, this is a buzzword these days, artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning. So these two diagrams will clearly tells you what is.
I have one question.
Yes.
This blockchain technology will be ready for the people who are using dark web.
Mr. Mato, sorry, I missed your words. What are the last words? Blockchain technology.
The people who are using the dark web. So this blockchain technology will be handy for them.
Yes, of course. A lot of people on dark chain are using blockchain. What they are doing is on the dark web or the dark net, what they जो भी transactions are coin to coin. First is the Bitcoin, second is Bitcoin Cash, and third is the Monero. So mainly 3 coins are used in dark webs because these 3 coins are ring fenced. मतलब like आप उनके जो logs हैं उनको पकड़ पाना बहुत मुश्किल है कि किसने किसको. आप ये पता कर सकते हैं कि एड्रेस ए ने एड्रेस बी को दिया है, बट वो एड्रेस ए और एड्रेस बी कौन सा है वो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है यूजिंग बिटकॉइन, बिटकॉइन कैश एंड मोनेरो. सो दीज 3 coins are mainly used in dark webs. And on dark webs, lot of transactions of all different kinds of transactions that happen on dark web uses cryptocurrency. Lot of cryptocurrency, these three cryptocurrencies are used by lot of users of dark web.
Thank
The
you.
question, Guttaji, there is one question.
Yeah.
I put Mr.
Yes,
from
yes.
Gaurav Agarwal. The question is, sir, how these bitcoins are threat to our economy? Can these be converted into money equivalent?
See, unless Bitcoin को आप fiat currency नहीं बोलिएगा, तो they are not a threat, but definitely they can be used for trade based money laundering. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपको एक मैं एग्जांपल दूं, इन इंडिया के अंदर एट द मंथ ऑफ मार्च एंड सितंबर देयर इज अ स्पाइक इन क्रिप्टो करेंसी रेट्स. व्हाई? कि लॉट ऑफ इंडियंस जो अपने बच्चों को यूएस और वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में पढ़ने के लिए भेजते हैं, सो व्हाट दे डू इज दे पे देयर फीस थ्रू बैंकिंग चैनल्स, बट जो उनके एक्सपेंसेस होते हैं ऑलमोस्ट व्हाट एवर एक्सपेंसेस आर करेंसीज कैश ओवर देयर. सो उसका कोई कभी ट्रेल नहीं मिल पाता है. सो दिस इज हाउ इंडिया इज लूजिंग लॉट ऑफ वेल्थ फ्रॉम इंडिया टू अदर कंट्रीज. दिस इज yes. Secondly, cryptocurrency कि इट कैन यूज इन डार्क वेब ऑल्सो, एंड उस ट्रेल पकड़ना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. सो क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटीज में यूज हो सकता है. Still remain very minute, not more than point zero, not more than 0.01%. The Indian economy is too huge now, like almost like $2 trillion economy. So this function will be running around somewhere around maximum 100 crores to 1000 crores. That's all so far. I hope I answered Gaurav's question. Hello. Hello, Chandan ji.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I-
There is no other question. Just 1 minute, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Crypto, sir. There is a question. Sir, so continue to that. Cryptocurrency generation in India, whether legal or illegal?
It's a gray area still now, ki whether it is legal or illegal, because mining, data processing. Even if I say cryptocurrency illegal, but when I'm doing nothing new. I'm just doing a data processing. So I have a computer machine which is doing a data processing for me. But what is a byproduct generated from it? That is illegal if it is declared by government. So if a byproduct which is generated is illegal, mining itself becomes illegal. Yes. There is kind of drugs, hashish है, heroin है, वो plants से बनती है. So that plants, growing of those plants becomes illegal. So nobody can say कि heroin या चरस illegal है, but उसका plant illegal नहीं है. So similarly, if government declares cryptocurrency as illegal, then data processing, mining of it also becomes illegal. I hope I answered that question also.
Yeah, Mr. Ashok Nehrwal. I think it is clear. Mr. Ashok Nehrwal. Okay. Nothing else is there. For time being, nothing else is there.
Sure.
Yes, sir. He said yes. He has cleared. The question answer is clear, sir. Thank you.
So coming to those points, key intelligence, these two diagrams will clearly tell you key this what is AI. So AI is a superset of machine learning and deep learning, and what are the paradigms in. So to give you a very basic understanding, if you understand the human evolution theory after Second World War, सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में बहुत ज्यादा डेटा जनरेट हुआ था, और वी नो क्रिप्टोग्राफी की वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट मशीन दैट वाज एनिग्मा वाज यूज्ड बाय जर्मन्स. उसको एलन ट्यूरिंग who made that machine, bumblebee machine, to decrypt that. So from there the genesis of artificial intelligence started, ki like how to process big data, how to break complex cryptographic structures. So next 3 decades, from 1950s to 1970s or till 80s, AI started happening, and at that time also computers was in evolutionary phase. So if अगर आप लोगों को इंटरेस्ट हो तो एलन ट्यूरिंग की जो मूवी है द एनिमेशन गेम, that is, it tells how he created that bumblebee machine, the enigma which is used by Germans. So now in 4 decades machine learning started coming, which is you program a system and you give some data also, but the program is not explicitly to see that data. So it will try to find patterns in it, and once it finds patterns in it, it will tell you कि whether this is correct or not. For example, जैसे आप दो टाइप की प्रोग्रामिंग कर सकते हैं, सुपरवाइज प्रोग्रामिंग है अनसुपरवाइज प्रोग्रामिंग. सो सुपर अब आई विल टेल यू कि हाउ वी डू दैट. सो लेट्स सपोज मैंने सिस्टम को बहुत सारे कलर्स दिए एंड उसको मैंने टेस्ट किया कि आई टेल हिम दिस कलर इज ऑरेंज, दिस कलर इज नॉट ऑरेंज, दिस कलर इज पिंक, दिस कलर इज नॉट पिंक, एंड आई टेस्ट देम ऑन लाइक 1000 images पर उसको मैंने टेस्ट करा. Now I throw him another image. Now the system with his own learning will tell me what this color is. So first this process is called supervised learning, जहां पर मैं सिस्टम को बता रहा हूं कि कौन सा कलर सही है और कौन सा कलर गलत है. Now coming in the machine learning, they call unsupervised learning, where I will just train the system. उसके बाद I will throw, जो फेसबुक ने यूज किया था एग्जाम्पल, आप फेसबुक ने आपसे सबसे इमेजेस मांगी कि आप हमें इमेजेस दीजिए, विल शो यू हाउ आफ्टर 30 years 40 years यू विल लुक लाइक. दैट्स कॉल्ड एजिंग वाला उन्होंने एल्गोरिथम यूज किया था. नाउ व्हाट सॉफ्टवेयर विल डू, after gathering billions of images or millions of images, it will start doing clustering. So what it will do, whatever it has learned, it will start clustering the common images. Like Indians की जो images होंगी उसको cluster में बंद करेगा, Chinese की images को अलग अलग करेगा. So it will start making clustering. So that is called unsupervised learning. So it will give you from a huge data sets clusters of sets कि yes, as per me, कि these are people belonging to Indian race, these are people belonging to Chinese, these people belonging to Russians. So this is how it improves. This is called unsupervised machine learning. Now, which is the recent paradigm in AI is artificial intelligence is deep learning. Deep learning is nothing but just like our brains. So we learn more. जैसे हैं कि चोट लग जाता, तो आई नो दिस, अगर मैं 5 फीट से गिरूंगा तो चोट नहीं लग जाएगी, और अगर 2 फीट से गिरूंगा तो मुझे चोट नहीं लगेगी. सो आई कैलिब्रेट माय फियर्स आल्सो, आई कैलिब्रेट माय थिंग्स आल्सो. सो दिस इज अ डीप लर्निंग. सो आई होप आई एम क्लियर on AI and the paradigms of AI, because I will not be touching more on it. So now coming to the part which is relevant to us as a indirect officers, the key challenges and focus area for us. Now with advent of GST and customs के अंदर भी बहुत data generate हो रहा है, so we are having large problem of large amount of data. So we need to gather insights from large amount of data sets. This is the first problem. Then we are having a shortage of staff across all the different hierarchy. So we have to maintain a fine balance between facilitation and enforcement. We have to find identify possible fraud cases on जो हमारे previous experiences थे उसके basis पर हम कौन कौन से frauds निकाल सकते हैं. Then now lot of GST returns and e-way bills are generated, even in customs bill of entry, export let export orders are there. So उसमें से कौन से cases को हम prioritize करें for assessment जिससे हमारा maximum revenue generation हो, and उन cases के ऊपर which should be our best approaches for those maximum revenue generation. And third thing is communications, because this is GST के अंदर lot of new things keep on coming. So there is a lot of queries which keep on from taxpayers, और confusion है कि अब कोई नई रिटर्न आई है तो कैसे फिल अप करना है, इसका कैसे होगा, इस HSN सिस्टम में कैसे करना है. सो व्हाट विल बी द बेस्ट कम्युनिकेशन चैनल एंड मैसेजेस फॉर डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ टैक्स पेयर्स. So now coming to the use of blockchain technology and AI in customs. So far is there any questions please?
There is no question in chat box. I don't know. There is no question in chat box, sir.
Okay. And if somebody wants to ask question in between also till now, they can just simply switch on the mic and ask. So just drink some water, and then if there are any question, I will take those questions. If there is no question, then I will move to the next topic. Yeah. So now let's move to our topic: use of blockchain and artificial intelligence in customs.
So I think now questions will be there once you come to our department. Our department now questions.
Yes. So now, how global trade works right now. So now today we have an authority. There is a consignee, there is a consigner. Then he's the exporter. He goes to the one authority, to the different authority forwarder. As you can see from this diagram, now this is how our current import and export works. Global trade works. So now what we see is ki, like if we move our global trade on blockchain, that's called global trade digitization platform, how the process will be simplified. So I just tell you some kind of points in it. If you see on the left side, currently kya hai, there is some inconsistent information across different organizations. For example, if I am a consigner, मैं मुझे अपने शिपमेंट को एक्सपोर्ट करना है, सो व्हाट आई विल कॉन्टैक्ट माय सीएचए. अब वो सीएचए के ऑफिस में अभी कोई है या नहीं है, उसको डॉक्यूमेंट्स पहुंचे या नहीं पहुंचे. सिमिलरली दैट सीएचएस पर्सन हैव गिवन और सबमिटेड माय डॉक्यूमेंट्स ऑनलाइन और नॉट, वेदर दोस डॉक्यूमेंट्स के ऊपर कोई क्वेरी है अथॉरिटी से या नहीं है. सो ऑल दोस थिंग्स कीप ऑन कमिंग एंड विच मेक्स द होल प्रोसेस इनएफिशिएंट. सेकेंडली क्या होता है, आफ्टर मूविंग माय डॉक्यूमेंट्स ट्रांसपोर्ट में पूरे कागज हैं यानी फॉरवर्डर के पास, किसी ने ट्रक भी बुक किया, सो दे inefficient flow of information. So the whole process become complex, cumbersome, and lot of messages have to exchange between the people. As you can see, there are lot of exchanges being कि मैं कॉल करूंगा ट्रांसपोर्टर को कि हाँ कहाँ तक पहुंचा, और आई विल बी कॉलिंग शिपिंग लाइन कि शिप पे चढ़ा नहीं चढ़ा. सो लॉट ऑफ messages being exchanged. So I give you a simple example. This study was done by IBM and Maersk to track a shipment of avocado from Mombasa port, which is in Kenya, to Rotterdam. So they found that these are one shipment. The number of agencies involved in the whole process was 30. Number of people involved in this whole one shipment is 100, and number of P2P messages was exchanged was more than 200. So this is how inefficient this system was. In India also, we find that administrative cost of handling of a container is almost equivalent to physical transport of a cost of a container. So to reduce the cost and to make and promote global competitiveness at the global competitive marketplace, we can take the whole communication channel on blockchain, where every different actor, that means every different agencies or the authority or different people involved in the whole process, can seek the information from the blockchain directly. So what will be the benefit? इससे क्या होगा? So that will be, information will be instant, secure and end to end. Secondly, information will be authentic and immutable, and there will be better risk assessment and fewer unnecessary intervention, and leading to the lowering of the cost. Just for example, चाइना से एक शिपमेंट चली, लेट सपोज एक कंटेनर में, सो उसकी जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है स्ट्रेट अवे विल फ्लो टू इंडियन कस्टम्स ऑन ब्लॉकचेन. नाउ हाउ आई नो इट इज इंस्टेंट, I know it is secure because on blockchain. So the person who has sent it, all the agencies or all the actors involved in this whole process can't alter the information, because information given on the blockchain can't be altered. They can't be altered. They can only be मीन्स जैसे हम अपने इंफॉर्मेशन वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट में लिखते हैं या पीडीएफ में कन्वर्ट कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद हमें उसमें कुछ और इन्फॉर्मेशन डालनी है, तो वी हैव टू अपेंड दैट इन्फॉर्मेशन. दैट मीन्स वी हैव टू add to that information. We can't change the original information. So similarly in the blockchain, we can only append the information, we can't change the information. So it will come to the Indian customs system. Indian customs system, before जो shipment India में land किया है, we can do its assessment and facilitate whether the bill of entry is to be facilitated or interdicted. So इस पूरे process में shipment और जो all the processes become much more smoother. So leading to the depreciation of the cost of the whole process. So this will be the one of the benefit of the blockchain. So this is the diagram by Global Trade Digitization Organization, which it shows कि कितने papers लगते हैं और कितने कितने papers reduce हो सकते हैं. So this is not an exhaustive list, but definitely it can give you a brief idea कि how process can be simplified. So now coming to the customs valuation using AI, what happens is we know in customs huge custom data is generated, and in a huge data set it becomes almost impossible task for appraising officers to look into. For example, like bill of entry आती है, so अब वो बिल ऑफ एंट्री कंपेरेबल पिछले लोगों जो पिछली बिल ऑफ एंट्रीज आई हैं लास्ट 1 ईयर 2 ईयर और 5 ईयर्स में से, क्या वो जो प्राइस आया है और जो क्वांटिटी आई है जो डिक्लेयर किया गया है वो सही है या नहीं है, क्योंकि टाइम ही बहुत कम होता है, गिवन द शॉर्टेज ऑफ टाइम, स्टाफ एंड सिस्टम इश्यूज, वी कैन नॉट डू दैट. सो नाउ here the artificial intelligence asks to this whole data, the past data also, and tell कि ये जो commodity है whether it is correctly classified or not, whether जो price है जो previous prices से कितना दूर है पास है. जैसे for example, if I import, let's suppose I import laptops and I declare that my laptop is non-branded and इसकी cost 30,000 rupees है या 10,000 rupees है 5,000 rupees है, so same kind of अनब्रांडेड लैपटॉप्स को सिस्टम एक विजुअल में दिखाएगा कि अनब्रांडेड लैपटॉप्स इस कंट्री ऑफ ओरिजिन से जब आ रहे थे तो उनकी जो वैल्यूएशन है लाइक अ ग्राफ दिखा देगा. सो दिस सिस्टम यूजेस वॉल्यूम वेटेड एवरेज मीन प्लस एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज. सो हाउ दिस एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर मूविंग एवरेजेस कि इट गिव्स मोर वेटेज टू द मोस्ट रिसेंट ट्रांजैक्शंस. दैट मीन्स जो एक साल पहले हुई होगी ट्रांजैक्शन उसको एक डिफरेंट वेटेज देगा, और जो पिछले एक हफ्ते में ट्रांजैक्शन हुई है सेम चीज की उसको मोर वेटेज देगा. सो वी हैव अ मोर क्लैरिटी ऑन द ट्रांजैक्शन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि जो प्राइस इंपोर्ट प्राइस है वो सही है या गलत है. नाउ यूजिंग दिस बॉस एंड विस्कर प्लॉट, सो दिस गिव्स अस द आउटलायर्स. लेट्स सपोज अगर मैं 5,000 रुपए का वो लैपटॉप लाया हूं तो इट विल टेल मी कि जो मीडियन प्राइस इस कमोडिटी का आ रहा है, इस HSN बेस पे आ रहा है, ये प्राइस उस एवरेज प्राइस से कितना बाहर है. So it becomes very easy for me to interdict that bill of entry and ask for the clarification from the importer. So the process becomes faster. So this is, we can use artificial intelligence in custom valuation. This is how we will use artificial intelligence risk management system. So for any questions from anyone? So now I will explain how we can use AI in RMS system. So we know that Indian RMS system is using fuzzy logical mathematics techniques, and this based on these techniques, RMS system builds some risk rules, and these risk rules are given or based on the experiences and you can say these are based on the experiences and inputs from the customers who have done field postings or who worked on the fields at dogs or appraising systems. So this is how they build these risk rules. Now these risk rules are run on the export import database as SQL scripts, and on the basis of this there is a risk treatment, and on the basis of risk treatment there is a generation of risk score, and on the basis of those risk scores either the bill of entry is facilitated or interdicted. So you can see this export express cargo clearing system. We have a RMD targets, random corridors we count. If the bill of entry is interdicted, then what happens is rule X, like we have an assessment or examination hona hai uska, or if it is randomly interdicted, then random probability generator will say ki what it should be done, assessment, examination, stop or suspend, or it should be facilitated. So this is a legacy RMS that we are using, which is based on human-based decision making. If I use artificial intelligence, that is the deep learning methods, so it will be nothing but a hybrid system. A human like RMS uses serial computing. This AI RMS system will use parallel computing. So this is a difference between these two. Now what will happen in this? So I can see these neural networks. So just explain you what are these neural networks. So these neural networks are nothing but organic layers. Just like our brains, जैसे हमारे brains में nodes होती हैं, brain cells होते हैं. These are nothing but organic layers, and then they are connected to each other, just like our brain cells. And these brain cells have only three kind of things. They have an input, they have a weight, and they have a biases. So input is like any kind of input. जैसे हमारे brains को मिलता है कि if there's a food in front of me, either I will take it or will not take it. So food is an input for me. Taking it is called as weight in the system, and not taking it is called biases. So neural networks are nothing but आप उसको इस तरह समझिए कि they are nothing but our brain cells, and it has only three kind of things: input, weights, and biases. Input is whether if there is some stimuli to my mind. Weight is whether I want it's a positive thing, whether I want to take it or whether I want to take it, and biases is I want to reject it. So these are three things that function in the neural network. So what will happen here is एक bill of entry randomly interdict होती है. It goes to the committee of DNNs. This is deep neural networks, and वो decide करते हैं कि as per the data sets it should be facilitated. So bill of entry is facilitated. Now, if committee of this one neural networks again interdicted, what they will do? They will take decision like assessment, examination, all those four decisions. Now, जो उन्होंने डिसीजन लिया है, that will come as a feedback कि इन्होंने ये डिसीजन क्यों लिया. So first they will by their own feedback system they will improve it. Yes, जो उन्होंने सही लिया था. So by a looping system they keep on retraining themselves. Now this can reverse can also happen कि now ये ह्यूमन इसमें इंटरडिक्शन होती है और बिल ऑफ एंट्री को रोक दिया जाता है और बोला जाता है कि दिस बिल ऑफ एंट्री शुड हैव इंटरडिक्टेड रादर देन फैसिलिटेटेड, और जो बिल ऑफ एंट्री इंटरडिक्ट हुई है इट शुड हैव बीन फैसिलिटेटेड. तो सिस्टम क्या करेगा, इस बिल ऑफ एंट्री का जो रिवर्स ट्रीटमेंट मिला है फ्रॉम ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन, इस टाइप के क्लस्टर्स और डेटा सेट्स को वो लो कर देगा. सो इट विल कीप लर्निंग फ्रॉम इटसेल्फ. आई थिंक दिस थोड़ा सा ये जार्गन लैंग्वेज है. अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो मैं इसको अभी टेकअप कर लेता हूँ, अदरवाइज आई विल एक्सप्लेन मोर. सो इसमें क्या होता है, द न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स हैव द एबिलिटी ऑफ अप्रोक्सीमेटिंग थिंग्स टू अ क्लस्टर. दैट मीन्स अगर कोई किसने कितना लिखा, जो हमारे HSN में होता है कि इट्स अ प्रोसेसिंग मशीन, so it will cluster it into the chapter 70 into chapter 84 some into the computers, and it will recognize the pattern. bill of है ये चाइना से आए हैं तो ये लो वैल्यू हो सकती है, so it will put into that cluster and it will continue to update that अगर इस टाइप की चीजें आती हैं तो उसको किस क्लस्टर में रखना है, so that it will keep on updating its weights after learning from its success or failure. एक और चीज इसमें ध्यान रखनी है कि जो वेट्स हैं, अगर फॉर एग्जांपल किसी चीज का वेट इंक्रीज होता रहता है तो उसकी क्लियरेंसेस और फास्ट होती रहती है, बिकॉज इट की जैसे द मोमेंट द थिंग इज प्रोसेस इनटू द न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स इट विल स्ट्रेट अवे गिव एन आंसर. जैसे हम बोलते हैं वन इज इक्वल टू थिंक ओवर इट, the answer comes from the back of the mind, subconscious. So similarly, when the system trains more and more on millions of transaction data sets, the decision making process of this hybrid model become very fast. Either it has to be stopped, it has to be interdicted, or what if interdicted, then what treatment it has to take. I think so far I am able to explain some bit. So हाँ, one more thing I want to share कि हम यहाँ पर hybrid system क्यों use कर रहे हैं. See, we have to understand. Hello. So we have to understand that as a custom, we have the ability to something in a very deep manner. For example, अगर मुझे कोई intelligence मिलती है या if read one topic, I can delve very deep into that. But the moment I get large number of data sets, like 1 GB data sets, वहां पर I am not able to go deep because human mind is not able to do parallel computing. I can do parallel work to a superficial level, but I can't do parallel computing to a deep level. So here, artificial intelligence or deep learning help us to recognize patterns and classify and do better classification in a large data sets. So आप उसको इस तरह समझिए कि this system, RMS system, will help us to look into the past large data sets and then on the basis of that, we are able to classify and do recognize patterns and do classification in a far efficient. So what will be the advantages of it? First, there will be accurate prediction. Second, there is a better classification, better interdiction, optimal manpower utilization and fastest. So जो भी हमारे custom and GST के charters में लिखे हैं, वो सारे points को we can cater to it by using these kind of technologies in our RMS system. So now another uh, AI is X-ray image scanning. So in our express cargo system or in our airport also, a lot of X-ray, we pass through a lot of baggage through X-rays. But can we replace a lot of human intervention using blockchain or AI? Yes, we can do that. What we can do that using a specialized specialized system of neural networks called convolutional neural networks. ये हमारे image scanning में काम आता है. Lot of doctors nowadays using CNN systems for image recognition की cancer detection के लिए use कर रहे हैं वो लोग, and it is also used in advertising world. कि जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आप टीवी देख रहे हैं और कोई एडवर्टाइजर है, उसकी क्रिकेट मैच के टाइम पर एड आ रही है नहीं आ रही है, सो पहले उसको टीवी के सामने अपने कंपनी के लोगों को बिठाना पड़ता था, हु विल जस्ट ट्रैक इट कि कितनी देर के लिए एड आई है, एंड देयर यूज्ड टू बी लॉट ऑफ डिस्प्यूट्स कि फॉर एग्जांपल आई विल से कि मेरी एड केवल 5 सेकंड के लिए आई है, बट द टीवी मैच के जो स्पॉन्सर ब्रॉडकास्टर दे विल से नहीं 7 सेकंड के लिए आई है या 10 सेकंड के लिए आई है, तो दे विल चार्ज मी अकॉर्डिंगली. So there were a lot of disputes, but using these kind of technologies, these disputes becomes very less because they are non-biased and they will give you a clear picture. So this CNN are similar to the regular neural networks and they're inspired by biological processes, just like हम अपनी eyes से देखते हैं, using image and video recognition, image classification and natural language processing. So on a global scale, these images will be transferred on blockchain. अगर हमारे एक्सरे के डेटा सेट से चीजें गुजर रही हैं, देन वी कैन से कि ये कॉन्ट्राबैंड्स हैं या बैंड आइटम्स हैं, और वी कैन जस्ट सिंपली पास देम एज नॉर्मल बैगेज. अनदर यूज केस ऑफ रिफंड इन कस्टम इज रिफंड ऑफ जीएसटी एट एयरपोर्ट्स. सो अभी हम सो फार इन रिफंड ऑफ जीएसटी एयरपोर्ट्स चालू नहीं हुआ है, बट in the western countries or advanced countries, what is happening is if you go and do shopping at the time of coming out of the country at the airport, so how technology is, see the products on which GST refund is applicable, they are mapped to the blockchain and their smart contracts enabled. Smart contracts क्या है? Is nothing but a if else statement. So smart contracts facilitate करते हैं कि अगर ये 5 कंडीशंस मीट हुई तो ऑटोमेटिकली जो उसका आउटपुट है दैट विल बी मेट. तो यहाँ पर ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन काफी कम हो जाता है. सो द मोमेंट फॉर एग्जांपल आई गो टू if some foreigners comes to India, he buys a GST refund applicable item, and in that when the shopkeeper is selling that item, he will map onto the blockchain that person ABC with the passport number XYZ has bought that item on this day, and the GST paid by him is, let's say, 100 rupees. So when he is going out of the country, at that time he will just scan the barcode, or he just scan with the whatever methodology, or simply when is, even if he not use that scanning system also, the moment that passport is out on the system through the immigration authorities, automatically the amount will be credited to, or GST amount will be credited to his account number which he has given at the time of purchasing that item. So this will, how it will help? It will help us ki, like human interventions will be very less. When things events are triggering, we'll have the whole data sets ki, like how many things GST applicable things have been bought, how many GST applicable things have been refunded, and how many people are still there, and what kind of problems. So these kind of mechanism can be used at airports. So they are right now, there are 4 more prominent blockchains which are facilitating smart contracts. So this one is Ethereum, second most currency right now, price at $2,000. Second is Cardano, this is almost like $1.2 thing, and currently in ranking 6th number on the coin market cap. This is called Neo. This is a Chinese Ethereum, and this is the EOS. So these four blockchain technologies have very high and efficient smart contract systems. So so far custom portion is finished, is completed. So if there's any questions, then we can look into it. Chandan ji, if there is any questions.
Chat box, there is no question, sir.
So I think either people have understood or they have not understood, because if they have understood a little bit, then there have to be some questions or some queries of curiosity. So if there is no question, then can I go forward?
Yes, sir. There is no question.
Okay, then I will discuss use of blockchain and artificial intelligence in GST.
Sorry, I have one question. Hello, Vipul ji.
Yeah, Ashok ji, बताइए.
Sir, the question is whether the custom have started this blockchain technology.
Mhm.
If yes, whether the casual way, the way show cause notices are issued on the valuation or assessment,
Mhm.
whether the same will continue or that will be also given the database which has been mining by the blockchain technology.
See, saying that कि अभी first coming to that first part of your question, कि whether blockchain or not, Indian is testing the various methodologies on the blockchain. It's in prototype phase. Studies are going on. So saying that it will be custom department will working on blockchain, it's still a far-fetched yes or no I can say on that. So yes, but definitely Indian Customs is studying different facets of blockchain. Now coming to your second questions, you said like of issuing show cause, and what else you have said? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Sorry, I'll just clarify. Today, what is happening? Directly identity means rather than going from valuation rule 4 to this last, whatever the best judgment assessment is there, that is used, and generally such type of show cause notices are given,
Mhm.
or the what we call is assessment is changed, and then somebody has to file the appeal.
Mhm.
Because of this one, whether this blockchain
Mhm.
evidence that the blockchain technology evidences or mining whatever has been done, whether that will be used as a grounds of the show cause notice or otherwise.
See, these technologies tools act as a facilitating information. For example, जैसे आपने ये बोला कि एक कंप्यूटर इंपोर्ट हुआ, लेट्स सपोज उस पे लिखा गया था अनब्रांडेड लैपटॉप and price are 10,000 rupees coming from China. So now these methodologies of blockchain and AI will tell if anything coming from China saying that it's a non-branded thing at 10,000 rupees, a red flag will be generated in the system. And that on the basis of that red flag, the appraising officer will take a decision as per his own judgment. What you are saying is ki whether the data output of this AI and blockchain will be used as evidence in court of law. That's a unless the acts or the rules and different notifications are changed. These things can only act as a facilitating agents and for a decision support systems or decision making system, but cannot be used as a laws. I think I answered your question.
I have another question. Hello, Gupta ji, can I ask you another question?
Yes, yes, of course. Please go.
Yeah. Now what happens is, since blockchain technology should give you a particular item,
Mhm.
The classification, the majority of the issues of the classification, different ports are classifying it differently, the same atom differently based on the understanding of that officer, or that, like, the best example you can say is the fertilizers,
Yes.
right? There are number of other custom which are classifying 3101. The JNPT will classify under 3808 and so called and so forth, same atom,
Okay.
right? So whether this blockchain technology also will give that this one, that so many ports are classifying, so many customs are classifying this atom under this heading, and you are classifying under this heading.
Okay. So I answer this question in a very brief manner. So what happens is कि मैंने बताया था कि एक कस्टम अप्रेजिंग ऑफिसर के पास एक चीज को असेस करने के लिए बहुत कम समय होता है. सो क्या होता है, उसके पास इतना ह्यूज डेटा सेट को रिट्रीव करना और उसके बेसिस पर डिसीजन लेना बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. कि आज फॉर एग्जांपल मैं यहाँ पर कहीं बैठा हूँ, मैं एक चीज को अप्रेज कर रहा हूँ, हाउ डू आई विल नेवर कम टू नो कि वो चीज को चेन्नई पोर्ट पे या गुवाहाटी में या बिहार आईसीडी में किस रेट पे असेस किया है और किस HSN के अंदर क्लासिफाई किया गया है. सो यूजिंग AI which looks into huge data sets, what it will give a different kind of outputs. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आपकी फर्टिलाइजर 3106 की आइटम आती है, so it can give a dashboard kind of thing where it will say the same item has been classified, let's suppose इंडिया के 4 पोर्ट्स में इस हेड में क्लासिफाई किया है. so it will only help in telling him that अगर आपने जो बोला ये फर्टिलाइजर 3106 का इंडिया के 6 पोर्ट्स पर ये 3106 में क्लासिफाई हो रहा है, मुंद्रा पोर्ट पर ये लेट्स सपोज किसी और HSN में क्लासिफाई हो रहा है, उसका रीजन ये है. तो जो अप्रेजिंग ऑफिसर है उसके पास एक बेटर डिसीजन लेने के लिए बेसिस होता है कि मैं इसको किस में क्लासिफाई करूं, क्योंकि एक आप समझिए कि ह्यूमन की भी अपनी लिमिटेशंस हैं.
Anyway, I was thinking that blockchain will reduce the litigation, but it doesn't.
yes, it will definitely. जब आपके डिसीजन एक किसी बेसिस पर रहेंगे तो इट विल रिड्यूस द लिटिगेशंस ना. अभी आप मुझे बताइए कि आपने एक डिसीजन लिया लेकिन उसके डिफरेंट आपके सिनेरियो में या आपके ही ट्रेड में उसको लोग कैसे कैसे क्लासिफाई कर रहे हैं, अनलेस आपको नहीं मालूम है तो आपके पास जो इन्फॉर्मेशन आप डिसीजन उसी के बेसिस पे लेंगे. लेकिन अब जब एक ऑफिसर के पास डिफरेंट पोर्ट्स की इन्फॉर्मेशन है and it is thrown through system only, through blockchain or AI only, then he has a basis कि yes इसको इसमें classify करना चाहिए because of this reason. So जो bandwidth है of classification, the wide bandwidth है, that gets reduced. So it will help in aiding the decision and reducing the litigation.
But it will also depend on the mindset of that officer. Is a revenue oriented, then he will not think on that.
No, that ये बोलना बहुत difficult है ना. अगर मान लीजिए फॉर एग्जांपल आपकी जो आइटम है 3106 की, आउट ऑफ 10 पोर्ट्स इट शोन कि 9 पोर्ट्स उसको 3106 में क्लासिफाई कर रहे हैं, सो इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर द ऑफिसर टू चेंज इट्स क्लासिफिकेशन.
No, that's what you have rightly said. But whether that will be applied, because there are certain ports, it is still classifying all the majority of the ports. Let us say potassium nitrate is classified under 3101. Almost so many, but in major port like Mumbai or JNPT, still it goes on 3808. All
नवल जी, मैं इसमें बीच में इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूँ. I agree that there could be some disputes about classification and otherwise, but for the continuation of discussions about blockchain and artificial intelligence, we should remain confined to our narrow discussions today. These individual difficulties, I think they have been there in the past, and we all trying to reduce them down. And our presenter has specifically mentioned the assessing officer will have a much larger data at his disposal to make a call, right? To that extent, the artificial intelligence is going to help him. With this, I think we should continue with the discussions, and we can again come back towards the end if we have time.
Sir.
Thank you, Ashokji, for bearing with me. And Vipul, you may like to continue.
Sir, coming to the topic of use of blockchain and AI in GST. So around some months back ago, government has said that there's some kind of IT mismatch in GST and IT returns and GST returns, where people are showing over value or more revenue or more turnover in GST returns, but they're showing very minuscule returns in IT. So there is understatement IT returns. So government wants to crack down those things using AI and blockchain. How government has moved ahead and what are the some how we can move more ahead. So I will be discussing on those points. So we have a lot of which is spread over different ways. Then we can use data to make our integration. Like we have GST data, we are planning data in this passport data is there, property data will be coming on, then credit card payments, then we have customs data, income tax data, then other data like MCA data from the back end, MC21, then we have banking data. So these information will be fed into our data universe integration. And then on the basis of that, there will be a trader's profile. And those trader profile using AI will be segmented different kind of parameters. Like we can do segmentation on industry, auto traders, cloth trader, food retailers, on revenue of 30 lakhs. Example, a person having a revenue below 30 lakhs and he buys a car which is worth more than 1 crore, then it will give us a red flag. So these data sets will throw us red flags. This is something I will discussing in the next slide. So segmentation can be based on parameters which we can choose. So now how this analytic backbone using blockchain will help us. So using data, this will tell us which are the genuine profile, genuine transactions, and which will be fraudulent transactions. So what will happen is a person having a revenue from 30 lakhs, he buys a car of 1 crore. So it will throw us a red flag because it is a deviation from the normal behavior. How can a person who is for the last 10 years having 30 lakhs of revenue buys a car of 1 crore? That means that has to be some kind of income from other sources also, which is not declared to the statutory authorities. So I give you one example. How we using the data, we detected one case, found that there is one employee of a company which was having a salary of 50 lakh rupees. And for last 10 years, he was having an increment 10%. So clubbing all his income, we came about that he will be in last 1 decade or 10 years, he will be having a maximum income of 7.6 crores. But this is the gross income. So there will be some expenses from that for his living expenses, for his expenses. So that was his gross income, upper limit. He applied for EB5 visa, which cost somewhere around $1 million, depending on his qualification. He was charged $1 million and he paid for that and he flew out of the country. So a person having this much of amount, even after taking all his investments, taking amount his maturities, his like you can say computational gains, cannot have money to pay for himself and his wife for EB5 of somewhere around 15 crore rupees. That means he was having some kind of sources other than his regular sources. So when we delve into that, we found that he has a maze, a complex maze of companies through which he was routing and getting money from his own company and utilizing for his own personal purposes. He was a promoter of the company. This is how we can use data or the strength of data. So we can make different profile on basis that sometimes what happens is in data we can have a missing value treat. If a person is not filing GST return, so how we can treat that GST return, how we can extrapolate and how we can extrapolate and fill that GST ki, approximately if he is having an income of 10 lakh rupees, uska GST kitna hoga, GST turnover kitna hoga. Then we will have to find the correlation between the different variables. Unless हमें correlation नहीं मिलेंगे, we'll not be able to deduce any kind of output from that. कि अगर किसी का income 1 करोड़ रुपए है, तो उसका GST return या turnover कितना होना चाहिए? So that is called correlation. So that is called correlation factor. Then how we can create secondary variables. I will show you how we create secondary variables. Then how this help us? On this machine learning model will be run and they will look after the like models. And this we will do fraud recognition, red flags, and then we will study what are the profiles which are showing deviation from the normal behavior, that is the red flags. कि किसी की इनकम 1 लाख रुपए है बट हर 3 महीने में वो इंडिया से बाहर जाता है, how can this be possible? So these kind of things will show us red flags. So this is, we'll be taking the power of AI, parsing the huge data sets and integrating in a data universe, and then coming out with different kind of variables and red flags. Coming to the next technology that we can use. So this analysis is based on graph theory. So if somebody have a curiosity towards how this theory works, you have to understand from its basic. This theory was given by L. Euler in 1736. He was a mathematician and he was studying the 7 bridges of Kolinsberg, which is now Kaliningrad. So how those 7 bridges were connected to each other. The problem was how we can go from each and every bridge without going twice to it and then cross the city. And on that basis, he has given this graph theory. So it's quite helpful to do network analysis. So what we do in this, so we connect people. So this person is connected to this person. I just change that. So in this person is connected to this person. What is the relationship
We are
between
trying
them?
to
For
connect
example, they are
and complete the presentation. I think these are only amongst the last few slides which are left.
sir, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Yeah. So we do relationships also in between, whether this person is employee, employer, son, daughter. So these relationship produces a complex pattern of hierarchy or a graph. Based on that, we can analyze the business transaction. This is what using graph technology, our BFI system has come up. Like if you just put in your GST number, it gives us who has given his input and his major output is towards what all entities. So a lot of social network sites basically uses this kind of technology only. First, secondly, all those recommendation systems that comes on the Google on the right
Vipul,
side.
I cannot hear you. I'm not sure whether others can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear.
We can hear you, sir.
We can hear you also.
Mr. Chandran, can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
Mr. Vipul?
Yes, sir. We can hear Vipul and as well as you yourself. We can hear both, sir.
So, sir, should I go forward?
Yes, boss, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Yeah. So please continue, Vipul.
सर so what happens is कि most of the जो recommendation systems हैं websites पर, कि अगर आपने जैसे Amazon से कुछ लिया, suddenly आपको आता है कि similar products कौन कौन से हैं. So these are based on this graph analysis only. So they based on your let's suppose data sets कि आप क्या क्या खरीदते हैं from any kind of website या क्या क्या आप Google पर देखते हैं, उसके बेसिस पे आपके चीजों को वो क्लस्टर करता है एंड उस क्लस्टर के बेसिस पर आपको सिमिलर आइटम्स हैं. I'm not saying same items, similar items of the same nature, of the similar nature, वो आपको recommend करता है. This is how the recommendation system works. Similarly in GST also, what we can do, जो हमारे यहाँ पे complex frauds हैं कि आपके क्या कहते हैं ट्रेडर्स के फेक इनवॉइसेस के, कैजुअल फ्रॉड जिसे हम बोलते हैं, मिसिंग ट्रेडर्स जिसे बोलते हैं, उसको हम कैसे पकड़ सकते हैं कि इफ वी स्टार्ट ड्रॉइंग और कनेक्टिंग द एंटिटीज, वी विल अल्टीमेटली कम टू नो वेयर द मनी हैज फ्लोन एंड हो सकता है वो द कंसर्न्ड पर्सन इज नॉट इन द सिस्टम आल्सो. दैट पर्सन इज, let's suppose, mastermind who is not doing any kind of transaction, but he is using his proxies to do all kind of transaction and he's only taking the money. So by using the network analysis, we can find out कि अच्छा ये सब लोग fake invoices generate कर रहे हैं, but where the money is flowing. So money यहाँ पर इस account से flow हो रही है. So after connecting the dots, we can come to that person and catch that person. So this is how network analysis will help us in busting the carousel or missing traders or fake invoices cases. So now this is another problem in auditing is what happens in auditing is ki because of shortage of staff, time, and lot of companies that GST audit officers have to do, they do more of a random sampling. So what we can do is we can use AI in auditing. What we'll do is using Google uh, Cloud Vision API, we will use their Cloud Vision API, which will machine read the invoices. On that basis, we will translate the information into a standard language, like let's suppose English, because if some invoices can be in Hindi or regional languages, so that will be converted to a standard language. On the top of it, there will be a departmental API who will see whether these invoices are correct as per the rules and regulations or not, and then on all those based on those invoice study of those invoices, they give us a single sheet or summary sheet of the tax, whether the ITC claim has been correct or not, whether there has been some ITC which has been wrongly taken or excessively taken or not claimed. So this kind of information it will tell us. So it will be used Google OCR, which is the optical character recognition technology based on AI only. And a current example using this technology is PwC Australia and Google have partnered, and they have used this technology to produce a product called Zipline, and they have saved almost like 10 to 12 million dollars of a company in US or in Australia using the same technology. Because in big MNC, what happens is they used to take they have invoices, but they are sometimes forget to take ITCs, input credits. So these technology help them to correctly take ITCs and reduces their litigation also. So we can use AI in auditing also. Another point, how can you, because if he goes to coming to that first, what is natural language processing? So whatever we speak, जो हम बोलते हैं, it's a natural language. So NLP system recognizes a lot of words and converts into kind of syntaxes and then give us data. So वो क्या करता है, हमारे हर वर्ड्स को स्टडी करता है, सिंटैक्स उसकी जो पूरे सेंटेंस की टोन है उसको स्टडी, दैट कॉल्ड सिमेंटिक्स, एंड फिर उसको एनालाइज करना है. क्योंकि हम बोले इफ आई से आई एम गुड, इफ आई से यस आई एम वेरी गुड, सो बोथ सेंटेंसेस दोनों के अंदर जो मेरी टोन और टेनर है उसकी वजह से मीनिंग डिफरेंट हो. तो इस natural language processing syntaxes, the semantics, the tone and tenor behind it, and analysis of it. So it will extract the metadata and give us a macro view कि ये जो, क्योंकि क्या होता है, what we have seen कि हमारे जो ऑफिसर्स हैं, जब GST ऑफिसर्स जब किसी एक बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जाते हैं, and when those organization gives loads of data to us to study, it becomes very difficult for an officer to study line by line. So just do a sample read. So using this technologies, that whole contract can be read very easily, and this they will do give us a macro view कि this contract what is all about. So it will give you a word cloud like this कि this contract में major words कौन कौन से use करें, क्या करें. So using that word cloud we can come to know कि this contract relates to what. For example, this contract here is about marketing and like कैसे market करना है, conversion कैसे करना है of the clients. Second point, it will give a micro view also कि इस contract की जो micro analysis कर कि वो क्या पूछ रहा है. For example, यहाँ पर इसकी intent क्या है. So this will give us a micro view also. So studying that, it will help us in better decision making and aiding the decision of those audit officers. So it will fasten the process. Now coming to the refund, we know refund is a dual system. Once a refund is cleared by state authorities, go to central authority or vice versa. So we can move the refund application on Bitcoin on blockchain and do a smart contract. Enable a smart contract. So once authority execute a smart contract, automatically it goes to the second authorities, and the second authority will know that first authority has executed a smart contract. So वो उनकी भी execution of RFD 05 fast हो जाएगी. So refund process will become much more faster. And Center has already introduced e-invoicing system for entities up to earlier it was 100 crores. Now they have reduced it to I think 50 crore. Reduce frauds, made the compliances easier. So this is nothing but network analysis. Using e-invoicing system, invoices are connected to each other, and then compliances become easier. Fraud detection becomes much more faster. So this is we can use AI here. Now coming to another thing, which is how to do trade facilitation and communication. So because since GST is again a evolving law, lot of queries and confusion are there between the taxpayers. So what we can do is we can make a chatbot which will be built on Google Dialogflow and IBM Watson, which is using NLP. Now there can be two kind of questions. There can be close-ended questions which can be answered through our where our FAQs, flyer, press notes, tariff, tweets can be put into that, and those close-ended questions can be answered through them. And for the open-ended questions, we can use our GST Seva Kendra. So this is how we can do a better communication for trade facilitation. And this is one software that we made for GST Mumbai zone, where our then Chief Commissioner Ma'am Sumita Sharma Ma'am, which is member now, CBIC मैम का जो विजन था वो ये था कि HOP के अंदर कई बार पूरा डेटा, क्योंकि HOP का डेटा इतने ऑल द ग्रुप बी ऑफिसर्स का डेटा इतना ज्यादा बड़ा है कि जो ऑफिसर्स हैं पोस्टेड इन CCO उनके लिए वो देखना और पार्स करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. तो शी वांटेड अ बेटर डिसीजन सपोर्ट सिस्टम और डिसीजन मेकिंग सिस्टम वेयर कि हमारे पास पूरा टोटल स्टाफ कितना है, ऑल ऑफिसर्स जो जहां पर पोस्टेड है उनकी डिटेल्स हमें मिल जाए, सेंट्रल हार्बर और वेस्टर्न लाइन पे कौन कौन से ऑफिसर पोस्टेड हैं, अमंग द मेल एंड फीमेल आल्सो, दिस इज डिवाइडेड मेल एंड फीमेल, अगले कितने सालों में या कितने महीनों में कितने कौन कौन से हायरार्की के लोग at what levels they are getting retired, so that there can be a better staffing. All kind of so we for parameters. So you can do for here, and the whole visual PI will change and give us a concrete view. पर क्या situation है. Once we have chosen some kind of filters, that parameter like this. You have a search box also here. You have a search box also here. We can search for a name. So after the parameter, we have employee code name. कौन किस commissionate में है? Is the commissionate name, division, section, range. So this helps us in narrowing down the search. Then once the person is searched, his detail will come like this. Whether he is promotee or DR, his employee code, date of birth, phone number, employee, all those data points here. And since joining his department, from where he was posted and where he is now, and what was the order number and what was the station. So this gives a very clear view, and also gives us the vacancy positions. There were different more parameters in that. There was an average scatter की average age कितनी है, किस कमिश्नरेट में कितने, whether एक लेवल के लोग की एवरेज एज कितनी है. सो डिसीजन मेकिंग बहुत आसान हो जाती है. इससे हमें ये पता चला था कि कौन सा कमिश्नरेट ओवर स्टाफ्ड है और कौन सा बहुत अंडर स्टाफ्ड है. तो वहां पर पोस्टिंग ऑफ ऑफिसर्स एंड स्टाफ, decision making. So these all kind of tools helps in decision making. So these are help in decision support system. So that's all for now. And the challenges in using blockchain and AI is as per कि blockchain बहुत एनर्जी हंग्री है. हम सुनते रहते हैं कि एक बिटकॉइन को बनाने में यूएस की जितनी एनर्जी लगती है एक दिन की उतनी यूज होती है. स्किल डेवलपर्स बहुत कम है. इट्स अ कॉम्प्लेक्स कोडिंग. Regulatory issues we still don't know whether it is legal or illegal. What will be the standardization adoption across different countries, across different boundaries. Scalability का थोड़ा सा issue है. Security issue what I talked about, 51%. अगर किसी के पास 51% से ज्यादा की hash power है, they can overtake that blockchain. And backward integration हम अपने कैसे करेंगे जो हमारी existing technology है. AI की problem, we have the data privacy and security. Data is being sold to third marketers. Skill developers, of course. Algorithm bias, for example, आप lot of data, wrong data feed करने लग जाइए एक system को, तो system will take that data as correct data and keep showing us wrong data feeds or outputs. So for example, I keep on saying कि trees का color red होता है and keep feeding that red color of leaves to system, then system will learn कि trees की जो leaves हैं वो red ही होती हैं. So this is the called algorithm bias. Then there's software malfunction. ऑफ कोर्स कि सॉफ्टवेयर वगैरह डाटा सिक्योरिटी एंड डेटा क्वालिटी की भी एक इशू है, इन्वेस्टमेंट कॉस्ट बहुत हाई लगती है, एंड टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक we have a too much expectation from AI, but we have to remember AI and blockchain are only to aid humans. They can't replace humans. They can only help us in support systems and nothing more than that. So that's for from my side. Thank you.